Courage doesn't come from a bag or a bottle. Courage doesn't come in mobs. Courage comes alone, quietly. You won't be drunk, and you won't be in a mob at the ultimate test of courage. You will be alone. Last night, my daughter asked me to go to Bryant Park with her. Bryant Park is this great park behind the New York City Library, the one from Ghostbusters that you've seen on TV a million times and in movies. And it's this beautiful park. And it used to be the place where the Crystal Palace was built. It is a place where America's greatness was shown off for the entire world to see. It's where you saw the first elevator and the transcontinental cable. I mean, everything that was great about America and technology and the future of business and commerce, it was all shown there, right? What's now Bryant Park. And every summer they do movies in Bryant Park. And I was walking with my daughter the other day, and she said to me, Dad, we're going to go see a movie. And I said, oh, I'd love to. And she said, Hitchcock is showing in a couple of weeks. And I said, honey, I can't go to the park. I'm not going to the park. She said, Dad, it's not like that. You're going to be fine. I said, all right, well, you go and you put the blanket down, and then after I get out of work, I'll go. So I had some tough convincing to do because Tanya gets sleepy around 9 o'clock, and that's when the movie starts. But it was the 39 Steps, and I'm a huge Hitchcock fan, and I love New York. I really love New York. There are parts of New York I hate, but every city is like that. And so we got there about 7 o'clock, and it was a hostile situation. And it got into a situation where, long story short, somebody kicked a cup of wine intentionally onto my wife's back, so she was completely wet. Our blanket was wet. As my daughter and my wife went to go to use the restroom, they were about a quarter of a block away, I guess. They were in the crowd still, but it's a big park. They were on the other end of the park. And some guy stood up and pointed their fingers at them and said, we hate conservatives here. People were taking pictures of my family. You take pictures of me and you can make me into a monster or say whatever you want. Please leave my family out of it. But they were taking pictures, and we knew what they were doing. And they're all posted online now. There's one site that is especially horrible. And they've done everything they can to stalk me and my family. They've put my family in danger and in jeopardy in our own home. And now they have pictures of my family on blankets. And, of course, with the commentary that, of course, it's a red, white, and blue blanket. I didn't pick the blanket. I'm sorry. It's the one we happen to have. I'm sorry that you don't like it. I mean, I thought you loved America. But what happened last night, and when I told the story, and it goes on and on and on, my security detail was talking this morning that they thought, had we reacted poorly, they said that the whole thing could have just gone up. These people were some of the most hateful people I have ever seen. All I wanted to do was go out on a blanket with my family and have dinner in the afternoon sun and sit around Americans, not like-minded Americans, and watch a movie in the park. And last night, about when the movie was just about over, my wife and I got out because it was hostile. We didn't leave. My staff said to me this morning, why didn't you leave right away? That was uncomfortable. I said, because I have a right to watch a movie and enjoy a movie with my family in the park. I have a right. All through the evening, I wanted to say to you today, please, 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 don't ever treat anybody like that. If Van Jones comes and sits right next to you, please don't treat anybody like that. And then I realized I don't have to say that to you. I was there at 828. I saw when people were pointing their finger in your face and calling you a racist, setting you up, egging you on. I saw how you reacted. I don't have to tell you that. Last night at midnight, as we got up to leave the movie, the crowd broke out in applause that we were finally leaving. Yeah, that's what people do after the movie is over. You leave. I don't know what kind of victory you thought you won. I actually felt bad for many people around us. I apologize to anybody who had their movie experience wrecked because of the people that found it so necessary to spew hatred. But there's nothing I can do about it. I was a little surprised that nobody in the crowd said, knock it off. Just stop. Just be cool. I don't agree with the guy, but just be cool. I swear to you, I think if I would have suggested, and I almost did, wow, does anybody have a rope? Because there's tree here. You could just lynch me. And I think there would have been a couple in the crowd that would have. But they found their courage in a bottle. As we left, my wife got in the car. My wife didn't say anything the whole time, even when she's sitting in a wet shirt and pants because she's had wine or champagne kicked at her. She didn't say anything. Nobody said anything. We held hands while we watched the movie. We got in the car and she said, we take those same people and we put them 4 on a blanket in a sea of conservatives. Do they still have the guts to say the things that they said there? I said, no, honey. It's mob mentality. People are braver when it's in a bag or a bottle and when they're in the majority. I was told a lot last night how much New York hates people like me. They didn't find any irony in the fact that they were yelling at me about diversity while they were trying to silence diversity of opinion. My daughter said to me last night, because she wrote to my wife apologizing. She said, I really didn't think it would be like that. And Tanya comes in and she said, you need to call Hannah. I think she's really upset. And I called my daughter and I said, honey, it's not your fault. It's not your fault. You didn't know. And she said, I just wanted you to have a good time. And I said, I was with you. I did. I said, we have to find a way to love people like that. And my daughter, who is trying just to stay normal and doesn't understand, even though she's old enough, she refuses to believe that people are really this hateful. Because she sees me, unlike what I guess most people see me like. She sees me as a person. And she knows that I don't hate Van Jones. She hears every night I pray for the president and his safety. I pray for the president and his family. She knows that I've made mistakes, but she sees me as somebody who really is just trying to do the right thing. And she's trying to stay normal, and she refuses to see what we're turning into. And I thank her for that. She said, Dad, I don't know if I can find love. And I said, start here. All I could think of about the people around me all night was, I feel sorry for you. I really feel sorry for you. Because here you are, 25 years old, and you are so lost. You are so arrogant and so convinced that you are absolutely 100% right, and you are helping build a system that is fueled by hate. You're being used, and you don't even know it. And by the time you wake up, it may be too late for you to get out. You're building a system fueled by the very things you say you hate. Special interests, the rich, the powerful, the global corporations. That's who's pulling your string. And by the time you wake up and see, will there be an escape route for you? The answer is yes. My family and I will accept you with open arms. My family and I and millions of other Americans will be standing there and saying, doesn't matter what happened in the past, brother. It doesn't matter what you thought. It doesn't matter what you even did. What matters is you're here now. Search for individual courage. Search for those moments when you are truly alone and sober. Search for those moments, and when you find them, do not pile into the rage. Find a way to love, because in the end, only love remains. The only thing that is true is love. Everything else is a lie. Do not hate. Love. That's the promise of America. That is the shining city on the hill that cannot and will not be hid. You're going to wish for the day that I was only on at 5 o'clock in the afternoon. I told you yesterday about how my family was harassed in a park here in New York City. Now, one of the people responsible for it is denying it. And the press last night decided Glenn must be making this up.
No one would ever deny
Nobody would.
That they did something wrong.
No
one would ever deny.
We reached out to the people and that's not true. He's making it up. It didn't happen.
Right.
Oh, did the press think that we were just going to continue to play their game? See, that's what GBTV is all about. That's what The Blaze is all about. That's what this program is all about. That's why we're on Facebook and Twitter and everything else. That's why I've got one of the biggest internet experts still looking right in. I'm looking at him through our soundproof glass right there because we ain't playing that game no more. Did somebody think that we wouldn't do our homework? Because we did. And oh, America, this is going to be so incredibly satisfying. I don't care if you are currently thinking about having relations with the hottest woman in the world in the next 30 minutes. Don't do it, because this will be more satisfying. Well, here we have truth. Truth is really an important thing, isn't it? This just published on The Blaze. I am reading it for the first time. A woman seated near Beck at movie claims innocence. But what does Twitter tell us? Wait a minute, what's Twitter? Twitter. On Tuesday, Glenn Beck told his radio and television audience how he and his family were harassed during an outing to an outdoor movie at New York City's Bryant Park. You can hear Glenn describe what happened here. The account involves people shouting nasty things and even a cup of wine being kicked into Glenn's wife's back. Quote, these people are some of the most hateful people I have ever seen, Beck said. All I wanted to do is go out on a blanket with my family, have dinner in the afternoon sun, and sit with other Americans, not like-minded Americans, just Americans, and watch a movie in a park. last night. That's what it was about. When the movie was over, my wife and I got out because it was hostile. Well, now a woman has come forward to say that she was seated right behind Glenn, and the account is false. This is the lady, I'm sure, that screamed at me, and I'm quoting, "You're in a park. Get over it. You should, when you come to a public park, you should expect gymnastics."
Acrobatics.
Was it acrobatics?
That's what you said in the
Gymnastics are out. I never
expect acrobatics unless I'm at a gymnastics meet.
I didn't say anything.
That's rare.
I didn't say anything. I didn't even. That wasn't addressed to me. That was addressed to my daughter's boyfriend, who was trying to protect my wife from getting kicked in the head. And he didn't say anything. He just said, "Tanya, you might want to move forward a little bit." Anyway. The woman Lindsay Piscatel wrote in New York Magazine, "To whom it may concern. Just a quick FYI, I saw your article on Mr. Beck and his numerous false claims about the way that he was treated at Bryant Park last night. Myself and several of my friends were seated immediately behind Mr. Beck and company. We have pictures. Oh, I know you do. And we can tell you that while the crowd was certainly not thrilled, the family was left completely alone. And for the most part, he was too. Conversely, it was his security detail, 2 bodyguards, oh, you never saw the third one? That seemed to be unnecessary prickly with the crowd. I will tell you this, my security guard didn't say a word. Not one. Why? They are trained not to.
They never do.
Anything that anybody can say, they only escalate the situation. They said nothing.
They don't even laugh on duty.
No,
they don't even smile on duty.
They're Secret Service guys. I mean, they're
basically,
I mean, that's the way. You think the Secret Service is going to get into a shouting match with somebody? Not a word. These guys are unbelievably professional. That seemed unnecessarily prickly with the crowd. Scolding myself and my friends for acrobatics. They said nothing. Other harmless activities taking place well before the movie started and contributing to considerably less relaxed atmosphere than is typically experienced during the Bryant Park movie night. I've been going for 6 years now. It was my friend that spilled the glass of wine on Tanya, and I can assure you that it was a complete accident. A happy one, to be sure, but nonetheless a complete and utter accident.
Oh, my gosh. A happy one?
Mm-hmm. We should point out
a happy one
as well. Not only is it a happy mistake, also almost everything misspelled in the entire letter.
As soon as the wine spilled, and I questioned how Tanya became soaked from half a glass of wine, it's easy. I could come to my office. I'll throw wine at you. I'll show you. Apologies were made, and my friends pretty much scrambled to give Tanya and company napkins, no doubt aware that it would look terrible and their actions would be perceived as purposeful.
Perceived that way.
No words were exchanged after that. No, you guys clapped and shouted, "Good, you're finally leaving," when we got up. So you're wrong again.
You didn't exchange because you didn't.
Yeah, that's right. We didn't say a word. As I think it became pretty clear to Beck and company that my friends and I were doing everything to help clean the mess. I'm sure it's unnecessary to point out the hypocrisy in Glenn's statements that we were being hateful. I can assure him that we don't need his sympathy. You're still going to get my prayers because I still love you. I just don't love your actions, but I still love you, and I believe you're terribly misguided. But the only real truth is love.
If it makes her feel any better, I don't like her at all.
Incidentally, none of us have made a career of spewing hate on the radio or any other media platform. Neither have I. We have lived our lives intolerant only of those who don't tolerate. We have chosen New York City for that very reason.
Which is code for it's a code for
everybody who disagrees with me.
Exactly.
Everyone who disagrees.
We do things like go to Bryant Park movie night and vote to legalize gay marriage. We don't taunt Glenn or his family, and we certainly don't waste our wine even on Tanya. If you have further questions, Lindsay Pescadell. So that changes everything because I should be issuing an apology, right? Because that's what the media has printed now, that I made it up. Well, we decided to learn a little bit about Lindsay, and so we went to her Facebook page. Her Twitter. She's a 20-something New Yorker, San Franciscan nomad. who likes to think of herself as a member of the creative underclass. In between panic attacks and espresso-filled internet benders, she likes to write short stories and sometimes poetry.
Oh,
Okay.
Beautiful.
So then we have some of the poetry that I don't even take time to read, but here we have her Twitter account. And let's see here. We have only confirmed policy, people, blah, blah, blah.
yeah. Shockingly enough, they're
She's
now
locked
protected.
it up now.
Yeah.
So it's locked up.
It's weird.
Unfortunately, she locked up her, she's protected her account so nobody can go in and read it. Unfortunately, we were diligent enough to go into her account before she locked it. And there's something where you can take like internet pictures of it and stuff.
Wow.
So here's what she has. She writes, what time is this? It doesn't say the
During
time.
the movie, though.
During the this is
She's
in the
tweeting
event.
live during the movie while she's sitting right behind you, which is convenient.
This
because
is actually before the movie, but she kicks the drink on me, or on my wife during the movie. She writes, effing ass. Rest of it. I was thinking of the first word.
Yeah.
Trying to avoid that. Effing a-hole. Glenn Beck is sitting next to me at Bryant Park movie night. Get the F out of my city. And then she posts one of the pictures.
That's weird because that's a different tone than
that
the
a
one she
much
sent.
different tone
Wow.
than gosh, we had no problem. We didn't
Now-
like it, but he was there. We didn't bother him.
Now here's what's really interesting. Marissa Barker, who's one of her followers, she only has 40 followers, so she's tweeting to her 40 friends.
Yes.
And one of her followers is Marissa Barker.
What did she say?
She writes back and says, "Ooh, quote, can you accidentally spill something on him or accidentally kick him in the mouth?" She tried
How weird.
kicking us in the mouth.
That was the acrobatics.
That was the
Yeah,
acrobatic thing. We should expect acrobatics.
Of course.
Of course.
And she did accidentally spill
What
something.
an amazing coincidence. Someone
Isn't that
tweeted that she
amazing?
should, and then it did accidentally
Yeah.
happen.
By mistake.
That's
Yeah.
amazing.
It's amazing that she would be swearing about you, saying how evil you are. Get out of your city. That's the
Yeah.
tolerant part she was talking about.
Sure.
And then, of course,
Sure.
the odds that one of her 40 followers would suggest exactly what happened. I mean, it's 1,000,000,000 to 1 that would occur, but it did, and we found out about it.
Yeah, you can read the whole thing.
Oh, you should also know that page, the girl who was saying, by the way, you should accidentally spill something on him and kick him in the
that
mouth.
hasn't been locked out now, has it?
No, it's been deleted.
It's what?
It's so weird.
Well, then you can't. Can I tell you something? She may have had her Twitter account hacked into. This
Or
could be a prank.
A hack or a prank.
Can't say conclusively.
Not with certitude. Not with certitude. Not with any certitude.
Absolutely
No.
not. I want you to go to
No.
theblaze.com and I want you to get this story and I want you to put it on your Facebook. I want you to put it on your Twitter account. I want you to put it on your website. I want you to put it everywhere you possibly can. Because the truth shall set you free. The truth has no agenda. Period. Hey, dummy dum from San Francisco, maybe you should realize that there's an electronic trace. There's an electronic history. When you, I don't know if you know this, Lindsay, but when you do things and you put them out on the internet, it's the World Wide Web. It's an information superhighway. Some information's going in, some information's going out.
I thought it was just me and Marissa. What? You mean you could see that too?
And you have to love, by the way, if we could just add on to that, how quickly many media sources just accepted her explanation.
Oh, of course they did.
Oh,
They
yeah.
just
Of course
assumed
they did.
You were the liar.
Of course they did. I'm not going to name any of them except for
No.
no.
I don't think you should. I don't think you should. You know what?
The one that is always the one that is the TV. I mean, come on.
I just don't think you should.
Okay, fine. That's okay. The truth shall set you free, and all those who think they're going to get away with lies, go ahead. You think you may destroy me? You think and in the end, you might. But your demise will come shortly after. Your demise will happen because the truth always wins. There is nothing but love that is true. And if you are engaged in darkness, hate, any of that, you will destroy yourself. That's why I have firm reliance in the protection of divine providence. I know exactly what is true. I know how I live my life. Period. Couldn't have lasted this long had I not been living my life properly. Believe me. I can't even tell you how many. I'll bet you $250,000 at least has been spent on investigating me in the last 2 years. At least. I have no fear. For those of you who are hiding the truth, you should have great fear.